Story time with other yellow hat guy. Alright, so this is my fourth video that I've made today, so I am tired. I'm trying to just get back after being under the weather. And this is about 2022. I feel like I made a video how 2020 was with the pandemic and all that. I'm not sure. I don't remember if I made one for 2021, but there was some progress that I did there that eventually got to where it's 2022, and I had to kind of take what I did in that year and get things done this year. A lot of the stuff that I got done this year, I either felt like it wasn't, or it was stuff I should have finished up last year, or it was stuff I wasn't going to get done until 2024. Here's what I mean. So we get out of the pandemic and the world is different in the sense that COVID's still around, still active, and the economy tries to sustain itself. And what that means for some people is, your job's going to change. You might either get a different job, or the way your job is done is going to be different. Whether that's from home a lot more, or you adjust to coming back from being home, just all kinds of different factors there. And that was emphasized more or less with inflation. There's been rumors and talk of a recession. Are we in one? Is it coming? Yada, yada. And I looked at that as, hey, I need to still be financially sound in case something like that happens, or, the worst of it decides to show. Hopefully this is the worst of it, but, I'm no history buff. I would like to tell myself that I am, but stuff does repeat, right? What is it? Phillies go to the World Series, Roaring 20s. Hey, Phillies just went. They didn't win it, but I digress. This year started off just like right off the coattails of last year. I know you're like, well, that's how years work, Leonard. Yes, but what I mean is there was no lull for me. It was like, hey, you got through this year, you survived it, now you need to put your foot on the pedal and make 2022 better than 2021. It can't be it's not enough for it to be just as good as. It has to be better, because I'm knocking 40's door down. There's more goals that I have set for myself. So what I wanted to do was work on my home. That was one of the things where years back I was just proud to be in one. Some of you understand where I'm coming from. You buy your first home, you just, there's little projects here and there that you got to work on, and you want to do that. But there was, this being a foreclosed home, there was a lot of little stuff that I was, they weren't major things. They were just things that if I had more time and money, I would address them. So this video may not be for everyone. Like I said, I talked about the worst things and some trauma and stuff that I had going on in other years, but this year I felt like I wanted to toot my own horn. This video may not be for anybody other than me. I hate to say it, it's humble bragging, but I'm proud of what I was able to do with this year, hence the video. So we start off January where, I'm not sure how work is going to pick up for me. I was still Ubering and notary and all that stuff, but my main job as an engineer, how was I going to do that? I was sound into YouTube and into Twitch and streaming and putting myself on different platforms, stuff that I wanted to do, but I knew eventually I was going to have to get back into that some way, somehow. Because although I felt like I could have been streaming and making content full time, that wasn't going to replace my main source of income. I was just going to be able to, well, if it did, it was going to be bare minimum, taking care of myself, paying my bills, not being ahead of the game, being able to save, being able to retire. And you kind of have to work with what you have. So I went from working at Ralph Lauren, which was a fun experience, only not far from where I am and everything. And not doing engineering, but more like working with databases and things like that. This was a apparel company. I'm not in a manufacturing environment, dealing with trucks or special vehicles or parts. Nothing dirty, nothing grimy about it. Just a clean building, a nice place to be at, fun environment. I enjoyed it. The thing was, I was not getting paid what my degree says I should be getting paid. Now, of course, those are apples and oranges. Engineering is going to command more than doing this day-to-day stuff, and it was fine until it wasn't. Right? I don't want to get too dicey or messy. I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything or say the wrong thing. I just say that I had to do what was best for me, and going from Ralph to where I am now is what I had to do. So where am I at now? I won't say. I kind of keep that stuff close to the vest, right? I spoke on Ralph now that I'm not at Ralph, and maybe if I leave this company, for better or for worse, I can speak on that in the future. So what I will say is that what I was making as an income at Ralph, I actually make. It's actually taxes that are taken out at this job, if that makes sense. So your income at one job is now what they take out of taxes at another. So I think that's pretty darn good, and I was happy with that decision. The problem is the commute is so much further, and I'll get into that when you see a little more in depth in my electric car video. We'll talk about that because that was one of the things I did, but more on that later. So that commute is like 45 minutes. It doesn't feel like that based off of the amount of traffic or lack thereof going where I'm going, but heaven forbid it ever gets like that. It hasn't snowed or anything crazy so far, but I'm good at this current job where I'm at. So that was, I want to say, in July, but during June I was taking steps to get myself financially sound. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to say, hey, I'm in a rare position where I need to figure out what I'm doing with my money. I need to be better at it. And I would have these conversations with other people about their situations, which everybody's situation is different, but I had the knowledge and experience of what not to do and what you should be doing to help other people. And so the guy that I'm renting out a room to here at my house, that was, a way to capitalize on, cut back on bills, the rent, right? So that was one smart thing I had going on that carried over from previous years was, if it costs this much to stay in a home, how much additional would you need just to pay your bills, like the lights? If YouTube is covering that, then the other jobs, the notary and other things that I do, how much of that can I put to where I'm okay and then have some kind of savings, right? So all of that had me try to be educational to others and say, hey, you may not stay here forever. I've had a couple different roommates here. And if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing for themselves, ideally they would want to get their own place, no matter how comfortable or uncomfortable they are here with me, right? And I wouldn't want to try to keep somebody somewhere they don't want to be. People, I've had other videos telling you, if people want to leave, let them leave. You're doing yourself a favor. They're doing themselves a favor as well if you want them to be happy, right? So I say that to say this. He was asking a lot of questions, and some of them over and over again, and I get it. I've been in that situation where somebody could tell me something and I wasn't ready, maturity-wise or just financially-wise. I just wasn't ready to make those steps because it can seem intimidating. It's a lot of red tape getting your own house, and when it comes to things like credit cards specifically, you can be afraid of them if you're not taught how to use them. And I was not taught how to use them properly. I just ended up getting one, on a whim, going somewhere to get some pizza. I thought, hey, I just listen to what these guys talk about and get some pizza. Not realizing I get a piece of plastic in the mail weeks later that would alter my life for years to come. And when you get these cards, it looks like free money on the surface. But you're not supposed to get things you wouldn't normally get. That doesn't mean you get things you normally get and don't pay it back either, though, right? I would get comic books and food, and that stuff would creep up on you, not realizing, hey, you got to pay this back by this statement, or pay some of it to where it's the minimum payment, but you're being charged interest. And that interest is going to eat at you if you don't pay anything. I thought you could just put a few dollars and it can go away, not realizing, hey, this is not a game, and you can actually increase your credit by being responsible. So it would take years for me to get that right before I get into my home, and I don't hesitate to tell anybody any of these things, because there was a time where I'd rather tell you my status as, I'd rather tell you more personal things, I'll put it like that, than tell you my credit score. I gotta remember I'm on YouTube, and certain things are controversial for them. So what that led to was me creating this book, 12 Principles to Instill in Your Youth. Yeah, it was written by yours truly. You can get it on Amazon. There's other books I've made as well, but I was proud of this one because this didn't feel like a labor. It felt like a labor of love to put that out. It's actually in the library here in my area. So that was another thing I was proud to get done as well. Some people told me they've enjoyed the book. It's something that when I'm no longer here, like these videos, they should be left behind to help other people do what they can, when they can, however they can. So yeah, 12 Principles to Instill in Your Youth. Check it out. I talk more in depth about finances, credit, just controlling your emotions, just life lessons that I wish I had learned earlier along in my life, that as I enter the next chapter could help other people, right? So I was doing all of that while I had time working from home, right? So I was working from home and went to Ralph, and then still motivated to finish some goals, and then I switched up to the current job. The current job allowed me to work on something that I was afraid of. I had some issues during the year. So this is what I didn't like. I had an AC unit. I've got the AC furnace combo. Some of y'all watch my currently most popular video, which is the Heil furnace, and how I was dealing with that. I no longer have that unit because I've replaced it with a different one, a more modern unit. These units have different Freon levels and what have you, and the newer units use less Freon, so they're more sound for the environment, yada yada. So out of the three that I'm aware of, I've got the mid-tier one, which is also being discontinued, but is more efficient on my energy bill, and it doesn't have the leaks like my previous unit had. We would run out of Freon every couple of weeks, it seemed like, and it would freeze over. I would get the unit tweaked out. I had a guy that I knew from another guy playing Pokemon Go, and he would come out and check things out for me. It seemed like the more he checked things out, the worse this unit was getting. That's not to say that he was doing anything wrong, but I didn't know. And he told me I'd eventually have to replace it. It was going to cost thousands of dollars. I did get lucky. While that was a priority for me, I knew the season would change, and I felt like the heat would be on and not the AC anymore. So I bit the bullet and endured that, right? I learned that if I put the fan on instead of auto, it would defrost. Turns out I had my stuff on the entire time, which was jacking up my bill all these years, and then you add the inflation I mentioned earlier. We're talking hundreds of dollars just to stay cool in the summer. I felt, hey, with the AC off, the bill should drop, and then we're just worrying about the heat. No leaks there, right? The main concern was my roof. I felt like I really wanted that roof done, and last year they told me no because there wasn't substantial damage, and I filed it under water damage. Now, when you're dealing with insurance, I will say this: it's like dealing with a speeding ticket and not having a lawyer. The court is the insurance company, and they're like, well, what's going on? This is what you're showing us. Yeah, we can't side with you. But you bring a lawyer and somebody who knows, in my case, an actual roofing company, they were going to fight for me because they don't get any money if they don't prove that there's damage. Heck, they might get up there and start tearing some of your shingles down to get it done. However they had to do it, I ended up getting the roof done. I say that to say, I was looking at getting Lowe's to do it last year, and the gentleman who I spoke to there, not only did he run my credit when I asked him not to, learn the difference between soft pulls and hard pulls, because not everybody knows. Soft pull, you don't get any inquiry on your credit report. A hard pull, you get an inquiry. He thought a soft inquiry was you only get a pull on 1 or 2 bureaus. No, sir. That's not how it works. That's misinformation. You cost me an inquiry on my credit report. You're like, well, big deal. Inquiry's only a couple of points. Yeah, but that inquiry could have been used for something I wanted. Something I wanted. I wouldn't have gotten a Lowe's store card. But I digress. Met with this guy again later. I figured, hey, we talked about the roof. His quote was $5,000. Let's see what's going on. Again, inflation. Raised it to $6,100. All right, but now I'm in a position to get that done. So let's do it, because what I don't want is to be in a situation where there's some kind of storm or natural disaster, and now I've got a hole in my roof, and when it rains, appliances and things are destroyed. I figured, if anything, if I had an old roof that was letting moisture or heat out, I could solve that problem, 2 for 1, by replacing the roof. So I did get them to come out here, but what I realized, I had my barber tell me, why would you pay for your roof? Go ahead and get an adjuster out there to look. I guarantee you've got some damage. So I went back and I said, hey, look, Lowe's, y'all didn't get up there and fight for me. I'd rather pay my deductible, which was $1,000, and get a nicer roof from another company than to give you $6,100 and you just give me a standard roof. Hey, maybe, I'd save I get a little bit of money back, but what you don't understand is that's still thousands of dollars that I'm giving you before my roof is done at Lowe's, versus I just pay this deductible and my roof is put up and I don't have to think about it anymore after that. And that was the best decision I made this year for myself, because subsequently I was able to take that money that I would have spent on the roof and these floors that I'm sitting on that obviously you can't see with my background up. I got the carpet removed in the living room and dining room for just $338. I was trying to be as frugal as possible. $338, and that includes the material and the labor. So that other $5,000 went to that, it went to getting an AC unit. I got the AC unit / furnace. It had to be the combo unit, right? I got a used one of those, which was nicer than mine and no leaks. I trusted somebody. That was a gamble. No risk without reward. So the AC unit worked out for me. They just wanted $1,800 for that. They left it out there, came out one day. A guy, his girlfriend, another guy who worked at a reputable company, tore my old unit up, put this new one in, painted, covered some holes. I had a video telling you about having a mouse in my house, and it happened twice. Guess what? Previous installers of that 30-year unit left a gaping hole underneath and didn't cover it. And that's how a mouse was getting in my house those times. Now, no problem. Now, no problem. There's another thing I did to ensure that I don't have any mice, and that was put some little floor guards, on the pantry door to keep them out of there. And then there's one more thing I'll get to later. So yeah, some major moves right there. Stainless steel refrigerator that I had some issues with even recently, but you get what you pay for. I was able to salvage that fridge by finding these spare parts on Amazon, and doing the work myself after figuring out what was actually wrong. So as of now, the fridge is good. Didn't need it, but having other people in the home, needing more space, maybe being more energy efficient, it was a no-brainer to get that. I also lucked out and got a new dryer as well. Had some issues where my dryer vent was not letting the air out, and the actual tubing collapsed under that crawl space. Paid somebody to go up under there and fix that, and that was a win. And then I got a more efficient dryer, so I was happy with all that. So if you're still with me, we got the roof, we got the AC unit, we got the flooring done. So for my next trick, I would get the gutter guards put up over the gutter. Since I got the roof and I'm not getting new gutters, I figured why not get gutter guards up there? And a company quoted me $3,000. No, sir. I was going to pay half of that. I was going to pay that. That would be half of getting the roof. Why would I pay that for just gutter guards? Especially when on Amazon the gutter guards are less than $200 for the 98 square foot I needed, or 88 square foot, 84 it might have been. I don't remember, but I got somebody to clean the gutters and put them up there for less than $300. So that was a win there. Those were the things that I did with my money. And then lastly, the remaining amount, I cleaned up my credit with it. So everything I told you to do in 12 Principles in Your Youth, I put my money where my mouth was. We had this whole crypto stuff the last year, and I kind of did things backwards investment-wise. But the lesson was, as you're rebuilding credit, you still don't get exonerated from the old stuff. Now you can wait the 7 years for certain things to fall off, but why wait? Tomorrow is not promised. If you need things now, it's in your best interest when you can to pay off some of this stuff early. Get it cleaned up, because your credit score will go up and you'll qualify for better cards, better loans. You're only being punished by having to wait until a later year to do these things. And it paid off for me, because as I cleaned up my credit, I was able to qualify for better credit cards. And with better credit cards and better loan offers, I was able to do more things. Like one of the latest things I did was I got an electric car. I didn't even have to use any of my credit. Not that that was an issue, but I had, when I say not my credit, I didn't have to finance it, because I had a credit card good enough to just outright pay for the car that I was going to get. Could I have done that without cleaning up my stuff? Probably not. But if I could have, it would have been at a worse financially situation for me. I mean, I'd have to use multiple cards probably and put myself in a real bind, versus, hey, I did this and I'm going to get that money back 2-3 months later, and additionally earn rewards, right? With bad credit, you're not getting the rewards. You're not getting cash back. You're not getting these bonuses that people who have their stuff together, who just happen to also be okay financially, are able to take advantage of, right? When you have good credit, you generally don't really need it. So when you have bad credit, you actually need it and can't get it. That's how it works, unfortunately. So with really good credit, you're probably making enough money to keep it to where you don't actually need as much, but you're able to take advantage of things. And maybe, I'm not going to turn this into a financial channel, at least not now, but there will be some stuff, if you guys are interested, that I can talk about here. Check out my buddy Beat the Bush. Not close buddies, but buddy enough to where he's helped me out on things. And he's always been there for me to message. Check out his channel. He does the financial stuff. His stuff that he's been telling me has been helpful. It works. No matter how, even if it's maybe too frugal for you, it's what I needed at the time as I look into being financially independent, retire early. So I ended up getting a cat. She's around here somewhere. I ended up getting another cat. I had a cat in 2020 that passed away. And because the internet pulled the trigger again and got another one. This one, she's a little more laid back, and she just likes to hang out around the stairs. She is very friendly, doesn't bite, doesn't make a lot of noise. So far, this has only been a couple days. This is recent thing. We ended up getting that the electric car, but in between, I forgot. If we're just talking appliances and stuff, we upgraded from the Series S to the Series X for Xbox. Still don't really play it, but was able to do that. Was happy with that purchase because I felt like although I didn't need the X, if I could get it and trade in the S, why not? I did that for my OLED. So I think that was everything that I'm willing to share here. There wasn't a lot of negative stuff here, some family stuff here and there, but for the most part, I kept my mind right. I kept my mental health together. Health-wise, there was some stuff I needed to work on, and eating better, and we're getting there. We joined a gym, so I'm going to be more active in that. I didn't get to play as many video games this year, but you'll see the games, if you haven't already, the games that I played and didn't play that I put up before this video goes up. So Happy New Year as we look into 2023. I'm going to play some more games. I'm going to be healthier. I am going to continue looking into getting another vehicle. A lot of this stuff, I was thinking roof only this year. And some of these other things were going to be 2023, 2024. But we did it this year. Got to speak it into existence. There's a couple other plans that I have that I'm still working on that I was hoping to get done this year, but I think they can definitely happen next year. A lot more reading and studying and preparing to be where I want to be. Elena will have more adventures hopefully next year if you've been reading my children's books. So I'll get back onto that now that 12 Principles to Instill in Your Youth is now available. So thank you guys for all the support. We've put out a lot of videos this year too, a lot more than I thought I would. I kept my nose to the grindstone. Is that really nose to the grindstone? Kept my foot on the gas. Yeah, that sounds better. We did 200 videos totality for Pokemon Go. Pikmin Bloom, we did a lot of videos. That was successful at launch for me. And we finished up some games too. So, I've been busy. Let me know how your year went. Was this a good year for you? Was it bad? What were you able to take away from it? If I was able to help you in this video, also let me know in the comments. Again, it's not a video for everybody. I'm aware of that. But all in all, I would like to look back at moments of my life and say, hey, you were able to do stuff like this. Keep doing stuff like that. Keep yourself motivated. And that's kind of what this is. So as always, I'd be remiss in telling you not to go ahead and subscribe. Click on that. Share. We still do have a Patreon. So check that out. And I'm going to see you in the next one. More Mario Maker on the way. Captain Sensation!